Hi, I'm James Davis with Softtech Engineering. I'm the president of Softtech Engineering for the last 25 years. So a lot of times we get a question, who are we, what do we do? So I just kind of wanted to give you an overview of what sets us apart, what makes us different, how do we test, all the important things that we take care of. So it's very important to know that the way we test. One is we follow ISAE standards. We have certain specs we follow. This is very important for doing testing. Also, what sets us apart is we have the ability to use our system using high sample rates, high resolution to gather data and to see things before they become a problem. So when companies talk about predictive and preventative maintenance, this system was built for that, to make sure that we can capture problems before they happen. So we gather 1,000 samples per second on a 16-bit data acquisition. This gives us all of our channels, our position, all of our pressures, whatever we may be reading, gives us that ability to see everything smaller. So what's very important is reading the stem and reading the shaft. Without that, that's the area where you can miss things. And with the data collected there, we can see on a linear valve if the plug is properly compressing or if the plug and seat are properly aligned. This is an enormous advantage when you're doing predictive and preventative maintenance, especially for turnarounds and shutdowns. There are a lot of times when companies will just pull every valve. A lot of times we don't need to do that. Many times we don't need to. So it's important to save time, effort, cost, and basically by testing the valves ahead of time, we can tell you what parts you're going to need, what is the most important aspect about what the valve is. We can then get it tested and set to the proper standards, proper specs, or whatever the requirements of the customer. So we have about 300 customers worldwide that use our system, and they use it for many ways. One, just troubleshooting loops, troubleshooting valves. We find a lot of times that we'll find that there may be a problem, yet the valve is okay, yet it's some other problem. So a lot of times it may be the valve. What is wrong with the valve? Do we need to pull it apart? Can we test it and fix it in line? So all these questions are answered with the profiler. One thing that is a huge advantage is having the data to do the analysis at the high sample rates. A lot of times we get the question, well, the DCS can gather that, or the digital positioner can gather that. Well, when you're talking with Hart and you're talking all the signals that are being gathered and read, it's very difficult to gather high samples. And the hardest part about that is Hart is very slow. You get a couple of samples per second. And most digital positioners are a 12-bit device. So the resolution you get are very small. So this gives us an enormous advantage. The other thing that we have is we make sure that the valve is built right, that it's machined right, it's been sized right, and once it's been assembled. Assembly is a huge part of, is the valve going to work right? Once it's assembled correctly, the plug and seat are aligned, we do a seat leak test on it, we have the ability to do all of that and to demonstrate all that. So as an end user, you're basically getting what you paid for. You're getting the valve that works properly and you don't have any problems. The last thing you want is a brand new valve that gives you trouble. We can eliminate that right off the bat before you even have it put in line. Next is customers who build valves. This is a great tool for warranty. You can guarantee that the valve is working correctly when you put it on from the bench to shipping or shipping to installation. So warranty work goes away. You have the ability to save money there, and working together as end users, as Softtech Engineering, and as companies who build and repair valves, working all together, we can make sure that the final element, which is the control valve, is the most important part of the loop. Because if the stem is not moving, you're not making money. If the stem is moving, you have the ability to now use the positioners. We can tune the positioners using the profiler system, and that gives us the ability to accurately set to whatever specs you may be needing as a requirement. So with this information, we'd like to point you to our website. We can also send more information. We can do presentations, demonstrations on Teams, or we can come to your facility and do a live demonstration on a valve and have more discussions that way. Thank you for your time.